I'm surprised that Taido didn't make a bigger impact as opposed to like Shotokan and things like that. Maybe it's because of the amount of athleticism it requires to be a high level Taido practitioner.
That's true. I would say back in the Long Beach days where Bruce Lee was out there, wasn't he trying to like...
People were like, you can jump more than 6 inches off the ground?
Wasn't he also trying to like prove the efficacy of Kung Fu over like...
Yes.
You know, doing crazy...
So it's weird because he was like, first of all, you Americans don't know anything. Second of all, karate sucks against Kung Fu. Third of all, Kung Fu sucks against me.
Never thought of it that way.
So it's a weird ladder, but yeah, more or less that's what Bruce Lee was preaching, and it'd be really interesting if he was approached by Taido practitioners. Maybe it's something he would just brush off and be like, y'all are just doing tricks. You're
doing too much.
Because like he had experience in like the Chinese opera where flips and tricks and things like that are prominent. Like it's a big part of it. Like everyone can do that. So maybe that's all he saw it as, if he had any inkling of it at all.
Right.
Maybe he just didn't care because he just thought they were just like having fun, you know, kids being kids or whatever.
I'd imagine this dude, the guy who created it, wasn't too out there with it anyway, because
I mean, I guess it was still in development around that time. Huh?
Yeah, because it was created in 1965, so everything was still trying to. It probably still looked very similar to regular karate, with maybe the circle walking at it. Maybe you saw somebody, you know, maybe you saw like a boxing match where people were like just circling each other for a while, and he's like, "Hey, that's cool." Or he saw a Bagua practitioner doing circle walking or something, and he was like, "Hey, let me use that for fighting." It's been done before, so. So they probably just started as that, and then it added, you know, more dynamic movements as it went further, and now they're anime fighters.
Yeah, actually, I feel like, you know, maybe now that just I feel like active lifestyles are becoming more popular.
Right.
Plus, as opposed to when we were in high school some years ago,
right,
anime is getting much more popular.
Yeah.
And I think with these two rising subcultures, eventually Taido's gonna get rediscovered, and then man, you're just gonna have Taido practitioners and teachers popping up all over the place.
That reminds me of something called par combat.
Oh,
right?
God. Combat.
I guess a group of parkour practitioners was like, hey, let's fight like on Mirror's Edge, and decided to create a system based off of that. Now, if you are practicing par combat out there, I would say take a look at Taido, because not only would you get kind of like a traditional martial arts kind of feel, if that's what you want, they also offer unique ways to kind of move as well, with having a context of fighting as well. Because I know for par combat, the context is still using parkour, but if you have to fight, so it's still in the context of parkour when you you're adding strikes and stuff to it.
So I have a short story about par combat. So I had a close friend who didn't really know much about martial arts, and knew some stuff about parkour, and he was like, yo, let's make par combat, like let's do this, like you and me. And he was like really excited about it, really hyped about it, and I could understand why, but at this point in my journey, I had been doing both for over a decade, and I had already kind of began that how do you say this, dissolving of just existing and using my body in each situation as it needs to be used. And I didn't want to create a new martial art or system based off of movements that I was just using day in and day out, like just to exist and survive and whatever else I needed to do. Not I wasn't getting in fights every day or anything, but like you know, maybe I'd almost bump into something or someone would drop something and I'd do the classic kung fu movie catch thing, or like maybe someone wasn't paying attention and they let a limb fly and I had to, you know, stop them from hitting me or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe someone was trying to punch me in the face and they didn't. But that's besides the point. I wasn't interested in, because I wasn't creating anything new. At this point, I was just grabbing all the dots and reconnecting them.
Yeah.
Based off of I had already connected them, and I wasn't interested.
Right.
And I want to connect this to what you were saying. Just if you're a parkour athlete and you want to do park combat, honestly, I think you're just much better just going and taking a martial art from an instructor that's been doing this for a while.
That's fair. And I mean, you could connect the dots, and like you said before, you could connect the dots in any sort of way that you want to, anyway. Just, it is as simple as saying, well, if I, you know, let's say you practice boxing as well as, you know, parkour, it's as simple as saying, well, how can I use my boxing techniques in the context of parkour? Like, you don't have to go out and learn or create a new system.
Yeah.
All you need to do is remember that everything has a context.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
can use parkour in the context of fighting. It would probably look like Taido, but but still, you could use it in the context of fighting, and it'd be something for you. You can use the context of that; it'd be something for you. People do that all the time. MMA fighters box in the context of wrestling because that is something that they need to train for. People are going to be trying to take them down. They box in the context of wrestling. So one guy is trying to take the other guy down, still, you know, using, you know, boxing techniques as well, while the other guy is working on his takedown defense. Again, using boxing techniques as well. So it really just takes creativity at that point.
Right. I feel like one of the things that, not to harp on this too much, but one of the things that gets in the way of that is like labels and titles. Like people want to be a member of something so badly, and I understand that. I understand we're social creatures and everything, but like when it comes down to it, like you can take whatever tool that you currently have and use it in the context of whatever you need it.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a box and shove your junk in it and then put a label on it and then like, all right, this is what I got.
Yeah, you're so much more than the labels that you put on the things that you do.
For sure. Like in UFC, for example, like they may call people boxers and this and that or whatever, but you're a fighter. You're in a cage fighting. You're a fighter, at least to me. Yeah,
you're definitely a mixed martial artist. You got a bunch of skills that you mix together, whether they call you a striker, a wrestler, or whatnot.
Like Leonardo Machida's a great example. I think it's cool to call him a what do they call karateka? Yeah, I think that's cool because like not many people in the UFC can be considered that. Yeah, he's still just a fighter, and I would say even transcending being a karateka, he is a fighter. Yeah. I think that's it.
And that probably should be if martial arts is your goal anyway, that should be the goal. Is, you know, elevating past that I practice Bagua and I'm just a Bagua player. Mm-hmm. Well, eventually I'll just be TJ that moves in the context of Bagua.
That's Kung Fu life, man. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's it. And my style wouldn't be Bagua, it would be
the art of fighting without fighting.
Exactly.
I feel like I've said that in every podcast.
Well, I know we kind of went off on a tangent and
we haven't talked about Taido for like 10 minutes.
But it's all important. It all fits in. At any rate, if you guys are interested in Taido, I'd recommend doing your own research, going out there, look it up, see some videos because they are definitely entertaining, if not anything else.
I will say, in my research, pretty much all Taido that I looked up was Japanese in Japan. I didn't find any American Taido.
I only found English-speaking people that were also practicing Taido. I would also I think the patriarch he does reside in Japan. I think that's mainly where it is. If there is any Taido places anywhere else in the world, I would, like I would with any kung fu school, I would thoroughly do my research because just because Taido is a modern martial art doesn't mean it can't have its own divergences that are bad. You can find this with kung fu everywhere. Tai Chi especially. Wing Chun is getting there, unfortunately.
Dude, Wing Chun's there. Everyone and their mom was the man's top student, dude.
Oh yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, we're also seeing it with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and even Muay Thai, which is sad because Muay Thai is. I've said this before, but if I was to mix anything with Bagua, my particular movement at least, it'd be Muay Thai because you got the knees and elbows. And like I use them in Bagua already, and the clinch game I think would perfectly complement everything.
Why aren't you in a Tai Chi class? Muay Thai class then.
Just I haven't gotten to it yet.
I see.
But like I said, besides the point, look up Taido. It's great. Maybe if you have the time to get yourself out to Japan, go check it out.
You just got a couple dollars to spend. And
$1,000.
Run out there for a weekend trip or whatever.
But yeah, it's pretty cool, and honestly, I think more people should look to develop it, see where it can go, because it's prominent in point fighting, but I think it's got potential in other places. If only just a way to express yourself. And
I agree.
That is ultimately the goal of martial arts anyway.